Exodus 1. Am I really doing this? Are you really doing this? I can't believe we're really doing this. Anyway, when we left off, Jacob had finally died. Joseph's brothers finally apologized for the whole selling him into slavery thing, and then Joseph died. Now we're in the book of Exodus, which begins with Joseph's brothers bringing their families to Egypt, only to have the new Pharaoh get really worried they're gonna take away his power. So he needs to stop them. These are the names of the sons of Israel who went to Egypt with Jacob, each with his family. You've gotta be effing kidding me. Another genealogy? We haven't even started the damn story. When you write things, you're supposed to shove the boring parts in between the good stuff, like a sandwich. That way you don't lose people right off the bat. The people who wrote Genesis started out with God creating the universe, not Noah's family tree. I guess the writers for season 2 are rookies. Or maybe we need to get introduced to our cast of characters. And there are many. But don't worry, at least this one will be relatively harmless. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin. Dan and Naphtali. Gad and Asher. The descendants of Jacob numbered 70 in all. Joseph was already in Egypt. That's it? Why couldn't all the genealogies in Genesis be like this? Some names, ... There were 70 people. We're done. It's so much easier. I like this book already. I mean, it gets right to the point. By the way, elsewhere in the Bible, it says this number is actually 75. But who's counting? Nobody. Nobody is actually counting. Now, Joseph and all his brothers and all that generation died. But the Israelites were exceedingly fruitful. They multiplied greatly, increased in numbers, and became so numerous that the land was filled with them. How's that for an obituary? Joseph and all his brothers came to Egypt. Then nothing interesting happened until they keeled over. But don't worry, their descendants were like a virus and they kept spreading. Their legs, apparently. I kind of like the idea that someone tried to count them all, then gave up. They're having too much of the sex, I can't track it anymore. They were fruitful and increased and are numerous. Get the idea? You know, if you do the math here, they go from about 70 people to a countless number of people, millions maybe, in the course of a few hundred years, which seems very fast unless everyone is just constantly banging each other and having lots of kids, and there are no reproductive issues for anyone ever. Then a new king, to whom Joseph meant nothing, came to power in Egypt. Look, he said to his people, the Israelites have become far too numerous for us. Come, we must deal shrewdly with them, or they will become even more numerous, and, if war breaks out, will join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country. That's the trouble with the new administration. They won't even recognize how you totally pretended to interpret the last guy's dreams, then handled his drought food policy for him. So ungrateful, this new Pharaoh. How ungrateful? He's already plotting genocide because he assumes if a war breaks out, those Israelites who descended from Joseph's family will become his enemies. But don't worry, we have a tried and true formula to deal with imagined rebellion in the Bible. Just turn people into slaves. You know, in Genesis 50, Joseph told his brothers on his deathbed that God would take care of everyone. He told them not to worry because I will provide for you and your children. And now Joseph is dead and everyone is about to become a slave. So either Joseph lied, or God is about to take a very disturbing tangent when it comes to taking care of them. So they put slave masters over them to oppress them with forced labor, and they built Pithom and Ramses as store cities for Pharaoh. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread. So the Egyptians came to dread the Israelites and worked them ruthlessly. They made their lives bitter with harsh labor in brick and mortar and with all kinds of work in the fields. In all their harsh labor, the Egyptians worked them ruthlessly. The more they were oppressed, the more they slept around, and the more of them there were. It's like they saw their master's whips and thought, I am so turned on. Here's a thought. If you're so worried about these people outnumbering you, and oppressing them clearly isn't helping, maybe stop with the slavery. Just an idea. That way they won't multiply, and they'll have no reason to fight you down the road. Did no one there even consider this? Did the Israelites just go along with this plan? A second ago we were told there were so many of them, Pharaoh worried they would overpower him. But now they're already giving up? I mean, where's the battle? I wanted a battle. And how is this passage for bringing things full circle? Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, and now Joseph's brothers' descendants have been sold into slavery. God isn't real, but karma is making a strong run. The king of Egypt said to the Hebrew midwives, whose names were Shiphrah and Puah, when you are helping the Hebrew women during childbirth on the delivery stool, if you see that the baby is a boy, kill him. But if it is a girl, let her live. The midwives, however, feared God and did not do what the king of Egypt had told them to do. They let the boys live. Then the king of Egypt summoned the midwives and asked them, "Why have you done this? Why have you let the boys live?" Now there's some biblical morality for you. The guy in power demanding the deaths of firstborn boy babies because he's scared of them. Let's get to the most troubling part of that passage. How are there only 2 midwives? We were just told there were countless Israelites having babies at a record pace. There could be millions of people here. And yet, only 2 people had the job of delivering babies for everyone. What if one of them had to call out sick? What if people are having babies at the same time? This aspect of the story makes less sense than everything else we've heard so far. Anyway, back to the murdering. I would also like to know when exactly these baby boy murders were gonna go down. Because babies usually come out head first, which means the birthing would have gone like this. The head's almost here. Push, push, we got the head. Keep going. Breathe out. We got the shoulders. Everything looks great. Keep pushing. Oh my God, is that a penis? Someone get me the guillotine. But okay, thankfully the midwives said they're not going along with the baby murdering plot. So that's nice. But how are they gonna explain their disobedience without getting into trouble? The midwives answered Pharaoh, "Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women. They are vigorous and give birth before the midwives arrive." Clever. Just tell Pharaoh that Hebrew uteri are magical. Hebrewteri. Those babies are born in seconds. So, it's hard to murder them when they're out. I mean, when they're coming out of the birth canal? Sure. But after that, they're slippery and fast and so damn hard to kill. Damn babies. Blame them, Pharaoh, not us. It's a good thing lying isn't a commandment. Yet. So God was kind to the midwives, and the people increased and became even more numerous. And because the midwives feared God, He gave them families of their own. Aw, that's a nice reward. I mean, they shouldn't need a reward for doing the thing they totally should have done. But in the Bible, you get presents when you don't participate in genocide. Unless you're God, in which case genocide means you can just get whatever you want. Then Pharaoh gave this order to all his people. Every Hebrew boy that is born, you must throw into the Nile. But let every girl live. Oh, damn. Pharaoh's given up on the midwives and told everyone else that they need to do the murdering for him. If you see a cute little baby boy, I need you to toss him in the river. Listen, if the Ganges River is meant to be holy in India, then the Nile just became like the exact opposite. It's about to become a place where you go swimming and find yourself surrounded by male infants. Good to see the Bible hasn't lost its touch at horrifying everyone all the time. Nice work, Season 2 writers. You had me fooled at the beginning, but I'm hooked again. Guess what? Even though Pharaoh wants all those Israelite male babies to die, karma's gonna come after him too. But until that happens, those firstborn Egyptian boys better watch out.